We cannot decide the world we live in ourselves, but we can change the world for those who follow after. Hi everyone, Petrik here. Today's video, as you can probably tell from my background, this is a spoiler-free book review of Disquiet Gods by Christopher Ruocchio. And let's get started with the review immediately. I have a lot to talk about. This book, what the penultimate installment. Disquiet Gods is a festival of epic science fantasy masterwork cranked to maximum level. And it's melancholic. I am feeling the melody of melancholy right now from reading the book and because the end of the series is nigh. It is bittersweet to have read every book in the Sun Eater series up to Disquiet Gods, including the companion novels, novellas, and collection of short stories. For those who don't know, I read and reviewed Empire of Silence in September 2023. That's 7 months ago. From the many messages I receive, although I am joyful to have influenced many readers to start reading this absolutely incredible series, I must say I am the one who has to offer my gratitude to Christopher Ruocchio for writing this series and to every one of you who kept pushing me to start reading this Sun Eater series. A series I now consider to be the best sci-fi series of all time, and there's a potential for it to rank even higher after the explosive final book of the series, Shadows Upon Time, is out. But it feels bittersweet right now to have read every book in the Sun Eater series. Not only that, on top of having my praise blurb at the back of Disquiet Gods hardcover, I have the honor of having my name mentioned in the acknowledgement section at the beginning of the novel, in one of my favorite books to one of my favorite series of all time. That is special to me. And Disquiet Gods, the 6th volume in the Sun Eater series, is ridiculously phenomenal. If you have read the Sun Eater up to Ashes of Man, and you refuse to hear my thoughts before reading Disquiet Gods, I vouch and understand your decision. What matters to me more is that you read this mind-blowing penultimate installment. It will be worth your time. I had space-high expectations toward this and Ruocchio exceeded them. Disquiet Gods is almost 300,000 words long. That's almost as large as Demon in White, the third and the biggest volume of the Sun Eater series, an installment hailed by many members of the Red Company to be the best book of the series. One of the most discernible things about Demon in White was how, structurally speaking, it felt like 5 connecting story arcs or novels organized into one book. And I am so damn pleased to see Ruocchio implement a similar story structure design but different content to Disquiet Gods. There is a lot of information to absorb from this book. A lot. And this is something that fans of the series should experience themselves. I cannot emphasize this highly enough. Henceforth, in this review, instead of merely repeating my praises, although they still apply to this book, all of them are still valid and more in Disquiet Gods, I would like to review this book by talking about each story arc in Disquiet Gods as spoiler-free as possible. I will start with the first one, the beginning on the planet of Judd. 200 years have passed since the end of Ashes of Man. Hadrian Marlowe is more than 600 years old now. He is aging and he is tired. But the war between the Selsin and humanity continues to ravage the Sollan Empire, with the Selsin in the winning position. The realms of man are terribly plagued with overwhelming malice from the Selsin, but the spark of hope has not dimmed. A messenger has come to Judd, bearing a summons from the Sollan Emperor for the one-time hero, Hadrian Marlowe, the half-mortal. A summons, a pardon, and a plea. Hapsist, the Emperor's secret first contact intelligence organization, has located one of the dreadful Watchers, the immense powerful beings worshipped by the Pale Selsin. Hadrian, Cassandra, and Nima must race across the galaxy to locate the Watcher and kill it. It is accurate to state that the story arc in Judd is by far the tiniest section in Disquiet Gods. It is only about 50 pages long. And remembering all the insanity that unfolds after Hadrian left Judd on his next mission, it is probably easy for other readers to forget about this small portion in the planet of Judd. But personally speaking, Judd is one of my favorite planets in the Sun Eater series. The vivid planet of fire felt equally infused with calm tempest and energy. The molten rocks, magma, volcano, and the cultures. Although, understandably, Hadrian Albrutan needs to move on from the planet to proceed with the story quickly, Judd left a strong impression on me. And I would be lying if I said I didn't want more of it. Thankfully, I did read Daughter of Swords, The Royal Game, and The Fangs of Oanos before reading Disquiet Gods. There are brilliant short stories in The Sun Eater, and they work as a mini-trilogy prequel to this novel, showing more of Hadrian and Cassandra's life in Jud. This is nothing to complain about though. Hopefully, one day, Ruocchio will write a novella or two about Hadrian's time in Jud. And Disquiet Gods only gets better and better with each story arc, as evidenced by immediacy in the second story arc, Planet Sabata. Honestly, the only part of this penultimate installment I can mark as a possible minor criticism for other readers, and this is being super nitpicky because I don't consider that as criticism, and it is to be patient with the calm before the storm moments. Approximately about 150 pages of Disquiet Gods, the first 150 pages are focused on introducing new characters, getting the characters back on track, and exploring the desert planet Sabata. This is, as I said, not a criticism. Almost every book in the Sun Eater series, with the exception of the Ashes of Man, because that one continues immediately after the ending of Kingdoms of Death, but almost every book in the Sun Eater series begins with a massive time jump. It is only proper that Ruocchio takes his time to make sure readers are reacquainted with Hadrian, the new characters, and the galaxy again. It is essential to do this, especially in Disquiet Gods. Due to circumstance, the first third of Disquiet Gods is centered on Hadrian and many new characters appearing in the series for the first time. Some notable new characters among many are Cassandra, Nima, Edward, and Rabantanu. I cannot imagine the rest of Disquiet Gods shining as bright in qualities without the vital foundation laid in the first two story arcs of the novel. And once the storm begins, trust me, you won't be able to stop the bonkers vortex this book will trap you in. Disquiet Gods is easily the wildest installment in the series so far. And if you have read the series up to here, you know this notion should not be taken lightly. Some of you Sun Eater readers might know I'm working as an art director for the Broken Binding edition of the Sun Eater series together with Christopher Ruocchio. Progress is going smoothly for the first three main novels of the Sun Eater. It will be a while before I get to work on Disquiet Gods, but the scenes and details from the first 260 pages of Disquiet Gods would make my work as an art director easier. There were sufficient iconic scenes to choose and work on from the Jud and Sabata story arc. However, things change after I read the rest of the novel. There are now too many magnificent scenes to choose and sacrifice. The ending sequence of the Sabata story arc was superbly imaginative, crazy, and outrageously epic in scope. Hadrian's struggle and adventure relentlessly dropped my jaw. And when I thought things couldn't get any crazier, Ruocchio assured me that the first two story arcs in Disquiet Gods were merely a warm-up before he commands his imagination to fire at will at the remaining three story arcs. To strengthen my points about the third story arc of Disquiet Gods, allow me to reflect a bit about the eternally stamped scenes in my amygdala from Demon in White. Coincidentally, it is also the third story arc of Demon in White, and in the gleaming city of Forum as well. I constantly praise the Sun Eater as one of the most ambitious and crucial science fantasy or space opera series of our time. But in Demon in White, Ruocchio actually displayed the vast scope of his storytelling by including a relatively small and postpounding murder mystery section. If you are like me, who love the political thriller section in Demon in White, we are blessed to witness another form of this storytelling's incarnation in Disquiet Gods. The galaxy-scope threats posed by the Selsin are forcing the children of Earth and the Sun in the Sollan Empire to come together for a brave counterattack against the Selsin. As you can probably expect, with many pillars of authority in charge, plus a conflicting and compelling reunion with a specific beloved character, unity among fellow humans is never fated to proceed smoothly. Ruocchio's political intrigue and scheming are handled masterfully. I cannot praise it highly enough. The range and level of his storytelling are simply astounding. The narrative in the third story arc of Disquiet Gods was quite likely the most breathtaking and intense of the entire novel for me. And as I said earlier, events did escalate into a new level of existence in this book. One chapter in particular, and I think this is one of the longest chapters in the entire series so far, is jam-packed with revelations and answers and emotions as well. I'm trying to keep things vague, but some things here reminded me of Star Ocean 3 until the end of time video game. The Disquiet Gods bestow its reader with titanic information about the Quiet, the Watcher, the Extrasolarian, and the Sollan. The scope of Hadrian's earth-shattering mission is, to say the least, universally staggering. I cannot talk much about my thoughts on the details in the remaining two story arcs of Disquiet Gods. They are the story arc in planet Latara and another planet I prefer to leave unnamed. But I can say this, everything you've read in the series, everything about Disquiet Gods, amplifies the Leviathan weight behind the recurring quotes. Seek hardship. And why should your burden be light? It was so powerful. I have read many series and I respect series that speak and cherish the reader. It was as if Ruocchio said, we are in this journey together. What you've read in the previous books, all of them played an irreplaceable part. That's what I felt from reading this penultimate volume. The remaining two story arcs reinforced this point more extensively. It felt rewarding to read a series where not only every book is tremendous, but all of them are paramount to the overarching narrative. Ruocchio never neglects this. In Disquiet Gods, events from Empire of Silence to Ashes of Men were reflected. Howling Dark, Demon in White, and Kingdoms of Death are the biggest contributors of them all. I am so delighted by this. It will be easy to refute any argument that states a specific main installment in the Sun Eater as a filler or unnecessary installment. Every one of them matters. Howling Dark and Disquiet Gods felt like they were hyperlinked. As we approach the explosive light of Gododin, readers will reasonably expect satisfying major revelations and convergence, and Disquiet Gods successfully deliver what the reader craves and needs. As Hadrian undertook his impossible mission to do what must be, Ruocchio prepares a 150-page climax sequence to close this chapter of the Sun Eater. I won't mention the name of the battle, I won't mention the name of the planet. Witness the danger Hadrian and the Sollan Empire encountered yourself. The volcano, the climax sequence of Disquiet Gods, was explosive, terrifying, and filled with insane twists and turns. The emotional damage inflicted was nothing short of remarkable. I am not kidding. Even the brief remark of a character's eyes was evidently enough to get me emotional. Disquiet Gods prove once again that the writing and the world building of this series, as I always say, are impeccable and massive in scope. Ruocchio demonstrated it is possible to craft the chemistry formula for an excellent blend of science and fantasy series. Masterpiece. Disquiet Gods is a science fantasy masterpiece. I have done my best to keep this review as spoiler-free as possible. Though this review is long, I assure you I haven't covered the fragments of the greatness in Disquiet Gods. The Sun Eater is a quintessential display of journey before destination. We know the final destination of the Sun Eater. The details of the journey, though, we have to find out and experience them ourselves. At the moment, I lack the confidence to determine which books among the top 3 books in the Sun Eater should reign as the absolute king in the series. So Demon in White, Kingdoms of Death, and Disquiet Gods will have to be content with sharing the top spot for now. But to wrap this review, I will repeat what I said. Ruocchio deserves a crown for broadening the horizon of possibility in the genre. This series is a future classic in the making. If you haven't started reading the series yet, give the series a chance. At least up until Howling Dark before you make a decision. You have time to bask in the light of the series before the epic ending to come in Shadows Upon Time, the 7th and final book of the Sun Eater series, where the intricate legend of the Sun Eater will be witnessed. I long for that day the dirge of the Sollan will be sung, and I hope you will be there with me on that monumental day. So that's really it. That's my overall thoughts, as spoiler-free as possible, about Disquiet Gods, the 6th and the penultimate volume in the Sun Eater series. As I said repeatedly in this review, it felt bittersweet right now. I mean, I have read every book in the Sun Eater series, all of them, and now I have nothing else to read in the Sun Eater series. But this doesn't mean that my work is done. I will still make videos about the Sun Eater, maybe the special edition review of the Diamond edition of Empire of Silence, and then my work as an art director for the Broken Binding edition. The Broken Binding edition of the Sun Eater series will still continue, and there are still many work to be done on this. So yeah, there are still plenty of things to do. I will be stuck in the Sun Eater series for probably the rest of the year, even though there isn't any new book out. And who knows, maybe I will do a second read of the entire series next year, depending on my reading mood. There is a possibility. But yeah, if you have read the series up to Disquiet Gods. Do let me know what you think about this book. Which book in the series is your favorite? And also, if you haven't read this series yet, come on, do it. Start it now. The series is up to the 6th book already, and this is genuinely one of the best sci-fi series, the best sci-fi series that I have ever read, one of the best series of all time for me. So yeah, that's it for me today. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.